Hi, I am Dr. Anil Bhoraskar. I am a chair of Southeast Asia region of International Diabetic Federation. I am honorary diabetologist as L Raheja Fortis Hospital, Mumbai. Well, today diabetes has virtually taken the whole humanity of the world like a tsunami. We call it a tsunami of epidemic of diabetes. There are millions and millions of people who are suffering from diabetes and complications related to diabetes. Every seventh minute, one person in the world is dying of diabetes. Every 15 minutes, one leg is amputated in the world due to diabetes. In India, if you see, we are already crossed more than 60 million diabetics. And I feel that beyond every known diabetic, there will be one unknown diabetic. In people in Mumbai or people in big metropolis, I feel that every fifth person visiting a physician is a diabetic, and every seventh person visiting a general practitioner is a diabetic. So it's a very serious problem. It's a serious form of non-communicable disease, inviting trouble for practically every single complication in the body, affecting eyes, heart, kidney, peripheral vessels, nerves, and in general quality of life. India, leave alone communicable disease also we cannot control. Our whole focus of the country's health care system is towards communicable disease like tuberculosis, dengue, malaria, infectious disease, diarrhea. And we have hardly any funds or organizations who are involving in non-communicable disease. Now India is on a takeoff, both economically, industry-wise, and the penalty that we pay for that is the advances of so many material that we have also is coupled with increase in non-communicable disease. You'll see the population which had a lowest prevalence of heart disease, diabetes and cancer is become a population certainly at a very high prevalence of this non-communicable disease, and diabetes acquires a very important position in this non-communicable disease. Now to handle this, both at the level of government organization, semi-government organization, NGOs, community service, patient care by the patient themselves, insurance companies, we are certainly not equipped to handle this onslaught of diabetes and diabetes complications. Unless we have a focus and a priority to understand that this disease needs priority, we have to treat this disease as seriously as we treat cancer and heart disease. Unless we change our mindset and the government changes its mindset, because today we realize that many of diabetes that we see can be easily treated by simple preventive aspect. And I always tell in my lectures that the treatment of diabetes is based on 4 solid pillars, and we call it in Marathi as ahar, vihar, that means exercise, vichar is the knowledge, and upachar, the last one is the treatment. The 4 pillars of treatment of diabetes, out of which 3 are in your hands. What you need is education. You need first of all perception. You know that this is a serious problem. Your mindset should say that, look here, I am going to change my diet. I am going to change my lifestyle. I am not going to go into this grip of media and going to get all the fast food. I am not going to fall trap into these energy drinks, colas and burgers. I am going to stay away and I am going to keep my children away from chips and fried food. Once this mindset changes, we will certainly be able to overcome this epidemic of diabetes. Because to treat a diabetes related complication, to treat a diabetes related end stage renal disease, you may have to spend almost 80 to 90,000 rupees a month, while prevention is just possible in 100, 120 rupees. All that we are trying to tell you that go back to your traditional food, traditional eating habits, what your great grandparents ate, what cooking medium they use, how they change their lifestyle, how they change their eating habits. We call it Rutu Charya. Depending on how the Rutu or how the season treats you, eat that food, do a lot of physical exercises, stay away from computers, stay away from TVs. I'm not asking you don't see them, but reduce the time, spend more time in physical activities, spend more time in the games which will you spend energy. Treat the children. In my opinion, treating children and giving them virtues of good food gives the message across the whole community and the families, because children are the best messengers. Therefore, my project in these 2 years as a chair of Southeast Asia is to teach children virtues of good nutrition so that they become our messenger, spread this word to the adults in the house and change the eating habit of the society. I am trying to say that this is a priority which is we have to all seriously consider. We cannot take it lightly anymore. Please remember, diabetes approach to manage is very casual. If a person comes to know that his sugar is high, initial approach, because he has no symptoms. Asymptomatic diabetes is more dangerous than a symptomatic diabetic, because symptomatic diabetic wants a relief from the symptom. Asymptomatic diabetes is diagnosed with the routine testing for pre-operative or pre-employment testing. He has no symptoms. He says, well, I think I have given up sugar, I have given potato, I have given up rice. Well, I am going to be fine. No, that's not a way to do it. You give it a priority. If you tell somebody, look, you've got a heart disease, how serious it gets? He goes for angiography. If you say, well, look, you've got a cancer here, oh my God. The whole scenario is different. Well, you tell somebody that you have diabetes, which is just beginning, but with other things to be taken, he never takes it seriously. He takes it only seriously when he has a lot of symptoms. But please remember, when you have symptoms of diabetes, it is already too late. You have already developed a complication. The second thing which really hurts me today, that I am seeing a lot of young diabetics. There was a time when we used to see diabetes after the age of 45, 50, and it was a typical middle-age syndrome. But today we see diabetics at the age of 16, 17, 18, 20, 23. I have got a lot of school-going children who don't have type A diabetes, type 1, what they call is insulin deficiency that you see in the Western country. We see in our country as well. But type 2 diabetes, that is seen exclusively in adults, is seen in young children, and that is all due to wrong food and wrong living style. That is a population that we have to check. If required, we have to pass laws. If required, we have to include that nutritional program in the syllabus, because I feel if you include anything in the syllabus and if the marking system, then people take it very seriously. Like you have seen, the people with the sports would get additional marks in the 10th exam. It has caught on. I think it's a good idea to add sports marks in your curriculum, because we have to encourage our people to play sports, outdoor sports. That is definitely beneficial if you want the whole country. Our Prime Minister Modi ji always says that the power of this country is 65% of the population of this country is below the age of 35. But what is the use of having a population who is below the age of 35, who is obese, who is lethargic, who is diseased, who is not fit? We want our country to come up. We must have fit population, and the only fitness will come out of exercise and a proper nutritional approach. We can overcome this epidemic of diabetes. Well, I think there are many things that we are doing as a Diabetic Association of India, as a IDF initiative of activities in a school education, school nutrition program, teaching the people who are already healthcare system. You see, there are two ways of teaching people. One is the people, educate them who have no idea about medicine. But it is also very important to treat the educators. Who are the educators in the community? Doctors, physicians. You must have standardization of knowledge. You must give them a knowledge which is standard and not controlled by media or controlled by pharma industry. It is to be authentic, it is to be good for the community, and therefore we have two programs. One is community teaching and second is teaching the doctors. And we are conducting a very big mammoth teaching program across the country, teaching 3,000 physicians the exact way of handling diabetes. What is the exact drug that you start in which group of patients? What is the nutritional guidelines you can give? How to look for early complication? Please remember, diabetes related complications, once they set in, hardly anything we can do. But before they set in, and if you can diagnose them, you can treat them, where the patient will have no complications at all. Retinopathy can be treated, the one which is affecting the eyes. Nephropathy, early stages, if you check the proteins in the urine, you can reverse it. You can control hypertension tightly, you can control lipids tightly, you can control blood sugar tightly. Now we have some excellent gadgets to see where our sugar is in control. Every day you can check your sugar and find out whether this drug is effective or not, or this drug acting too much, producing hypoglycemia can be also seen. There are effective insulins, there are effective tablets, there are wonderful drugs which have come recently in the market, which have a definite role to bring down the blood glucose. And the target of control of sugar is obviously today blood glucose and weight. The most important clinical parameter of a control of diabetes is waist circumference. If the waist circumference is normal, then your chances of developing complications are low. We always say the left waistline is inversely proportional to lifeline. Larger the waistline, shorter the lifeline. And I think if everybody keeps a measuring tape in the kitchen and measures the waist before and after food, automatically your food intake will go down and you will become more conscious of your waist circumference. This message has to go from every house, every school, every college, every health club. If this is done, I think we have done most of our job of educating the community.
What are the challenges that you find in the management of diabetes?
Challenges are many. In this country, there are many challenges. Even if you walk on the road, it is a challenge. Even if you try to travel by train, it is a challenge. So, challenge in this country, diversity. First of all, this country has a diverse cultural eating habits. However, if you really intellectually see and study our ancestrals' thalis of say Gujarati thali, Madrasi thali, Bengali thali, Maharashtrian thali, and you see the constituents are identical, they are extremely healthy. And that is the beauty of our country, that we have unity in diversity. We have many languages and diverse dialects, but yet we are together. Now, this is a plus point, but to change people's eating habits is like asking them to change the culture. You change the hospitality. We are very hospitable people. Indians like to shower hospitality on their guests by feeding them with panchapakwan. This attitude has to change. Somehow wealth and doing well is linked with nutritious and healthy and rich food. We have to change the mindset that look here, you can call people, give them simple food, give them more entertainment. I like the young kids today nowadays for your right from I think engagement ceremonies to marriage anniversaries, the young people dance. Today is dancing and all of us adults sit up and watch it. I think this dancing philosophy of young people is definitely beneficial rather than just eating and I think today's generation, the young generation is conscious of figure, health, because they have realized that health is a very important tool to success. Health is a very important gadget for the well-being of themselves and their career. And if you want a good career graph, health is a priority. So this changing concept has to go wide and square. I'm not saying that we have very traditional and we are very orthodox people and we should stop celebrating our festivity. Wrong, I don't agree. But festivity also can be coupled with exercise. It's very interesting. In Shravan in Maharashtra, women come together on Mangala Gaur and all that. They play Phugdi. It's a great exercise. Why don't you start this fashion again? Rather than just giving big food. And big food and good food need not be very rich food. We have to change people's eating habit that simple food also can taste well. If this can go from house to house, I think we will win the battle over diabetes. One of the initiatives that I have taken to improve the care of diabetes in our country and other 6 countries that I represent, which includes Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives, Mauritius, and Sri Lanka. Why these 6 different countries from different areas geographically are coupled together in IDF Southeast Asia? Because ethnically we share the same background. We all look alike. When we sit in an international conference, we look as if we are from one country. And our eating habits, cultural habits, emotional habits are identical. So what we plan to do in this region, that we have taken with our president what is known as School for Diabetes. And that's a kind of a great work. We're going to have online registration for this certificate course, which people will take up because we want to have an authenticity in education, both in terms of treatment and diagnosis, and this will cover the whole world. But in Southeast Asia, I have initiated the nutritional program in the schools, and I intend to meet our HR minister, Mrs. Irani, as well as our health minister, to give us access to school teachers. We'll conduct seminars and symposia to first educate them, then include this nutrition, healthy nutrition as a syllabus in the 4th standard and 7th standard as a part of curriculum, so that we want this message to go across the whole country through the children. In my opinion, if you educate children, they are the best messengers to spread your message. This is my plan.